Today is January 4th. It's a new year. The Bucks missed out on Okamoto. Where do they go next? Is the offseason a bust now? Let's break it down. You're listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast. Yes, guys. Thank you for listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast, where we talk all about them Pittsburgh Pirates and that. Still swallowing the drink there. My name is Josh. His name is Jake. What's up, Jake?
How are we doing, sir?
Doing all right.
Warming up there yet?
Nope. You're back down in the warm weather.
Yes. Went and played 18 holes today in a t-shirt. Felt great. Short sleeves anyway. I mean, you're wearing a polo, not a t-shirt.
I got you.
But yeah, it's good to be back in the warm weather.
Doug points it out. New intro for 2026. New intro. Got the new, we got these cards here. Got the new card design on it. And we got rid of some players that no longer play for the Pirates. The old intro still had Bednar on it, still had Hayes on it, still had Oviedo on it. Dowry Moretta was on it. And we don't know quite yet, but Jack Sawinski was on it. That might be. Oh no, Colin Holderman was on it.
We had a lot.
So we had a lot of guys. It was time for a refresh. It was time for a refresh. And hey, because I waited so long to do it, I was able to get Lau and O'Hearn on there as well. And, maybe be able to update that with some Bucko highlights as the season goes.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Glad to have that. Glad to be a little bit fresh as far as 2026 goes.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a new year. And, are the Pirates good, Jake? Are they going to be good this year?
Yeah.
That's a loaded question, right?
They're going to be better than they were last year.
They're going to be better. They're going to be better. I believe that. You believe that, right?
Absolutely. You upgraded the offense enough at this point that they're going to be better. You're going to have bounce back. Reynolds isn't going to play that bad again. Hopefully you see Cruz click. Finally.
That's a big thing. With Cruz and Reynolds having such down years, you get some protection in the lineup. Jake, yeah, they're gonna be better. Martin says that he saw a catch on there. Yeah, because I'm just that confident. And if they don't, and there's another move, we can swap it out. Martin, be careful. He says they can't be any worse. I be careful. They can. Yeah. Listen. Yeah. What was the official? It's funny how as soon as the new year turned, I have basically said, what was last year's record? I don't know. 71 wins. Jake, the roster last year wasn't a 71 win roster.
Right.
They were talent-wise better than that and played so poorly and started off the season so miserably that, granted, they weren't any better than they were the year before.
Right.
So we're still just standing in that 76 win. So my point is that you can have bad years from everyone. And it could get worse. But I think they've done enough now where, there you go, Doug says they can't. And that's true because they had so many guys play under their level, and they had guys that were supposed to break out that didn't on top of that. So, yeah, absolutely.
Throw some injuries in there too.
Yeah, and trading Bednar, you didn't have him for a portion of the season. The bullpen was taxed in that sense. So, yeah, I don't know. Greg says they're closer than they've been in a decade, and there's a lot of positive and negative things that have happened. And I think that maybe as fans, we get focused on the negative. And really, they're not negative, Jake. As we're going to mostly talk about Okamoto and the fact that there's another player in free agency that they sought after and were not able to get. And you talk about missing out on Schwarber. You talk about missing out on Okamoto, being on a no trade list for Ketel Marte, which was a conversation for a minute. I thought there was one more too that was kind of like, oh, Pirates were in on this guy and it didn't happen, but for some reason that's escaping me now. But either way, it's just like, why we're focused on that, and yet here the Pirates brought in 2 All-Stars from last year. Left-handed at that. We know how poor this team did against right-handed pitching last year. They have all but hopefully fixed something there. Now we're actually looking for a right-handed bat. That's how well they addressed, the right-handed side of the platoon for this team. So, it's one of those things. And I'll, as we go in, there you go. Polanco, Josh Naylor. These were ones that were also in there too. Polanco was the one I was specifically thinking of because the rumor was it was, a longer term contract for more, and the other team went high AAV, the Mets. And so, and Josh Naylor was the very early one, which didn't hit quite the same because when you get low, when you get Lau and you get O'Hearn, O'Hearn hadn't happened when the Polanco stuff was going on, but when you start to get this and that the offers are being leaked and being sent out there, you create hope. I don't know that we had that hope with the Naylor when Naylor news broke. I don't know that we had that yet. Fans are going to get hope when things start happening. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what we've seen happen. And so now it's the same thing. Ron says they get Suarez, they win the Central period. They have a good shot at it. And there's been a lot of talk. Yeah, there's been a lot of talk saying like all they have to do is get this offense to league average. Do you still feel like that right now, or do you think it actually needs to be better than that?
I think it needs to be better than that. I think you're still going to walk away with a bunch of wins based on the pitching staff alone and being a league average offense. The problem is, I don't know if you're going to win enough games to win more games than the Brewers.
Mm-hmm.
Because they just seem to do it every year, right? I mean, it just doesn't matter who they throw out there. They find a way to win more games than us. Part of that is we can't go there and win ever, period. But I see the, you get Suarez, you win the Central period. Like, sure, on paper it looks like that, but you still got to play the Brewers. You still got to play the games in general. Other teams also have gotten better. I don't know if they've gotten quite where we're getting to, but
So a couple things here, Jake, that I want to address here. Doug Smith says, I keep hearing we need 1 or 2 more moves, but I'm already very pleased. I think there's a place to be where you're saying like, I'm pleased with what they've done, but I also am optimistic that there is more. And I think there's more. So what I would add to what you just said is about the league average piece is, but you got rid of 2 starting pitchers that we were going to rely on for 100 innings or more this year. So that's why I'm like, no, the offense actually needs to be better than league average now because we don't have that same depth at pitching.
Yeah, I still feel like we don't have the depth as far as numbers, but I still feel like our 5 that's going to start the year, it's going to be pretty solid.
I think it's 4. That's where I'm at right now.
That's fair, but then you only need above league average offense for 1 game.
Sure. Well, I understand that. Right now, I would say your number 5 is Majinski. So that's where I'm at. And what do you do? Like, are you also depending on him being a full blown, starting pitcher, or do you also need that piggyback along with him because now you're bringing Barco up to do that sort of thing. And the only guy left is Harrington at this point.
I think if he's going to end up being in the starting rotation this year, he's going to have to be a starting pitcher, period. Like it's
and
not.
I don't know that
innings limits can come into effect at some point, but you can't just be like, yeah, you're a piggyback guy. It's just,
and that's why I need a Quintana. I need a Quintana to be our number 5 right behind Ashcraft. And I need him to get me some innings, 130, and then I can worry. And Mlodzinski can follow behind whoever. Ashcraft, Bubba, he can give us 2-3 innings after that to keep him stretched out and let him pitch once every time through the rotation if you can manage that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I'm all there. I get that. But I think in that case, you have Barco and you have Harrington in the minor leagues. And obviously Harrington didn't have the best showing in 25.
Right.
I still like him, and I think the Pirates still do too. But that's something you have to consider. You got rid of 2 solid major league arms in Oviedo and Burrows. And you were really built for the long haul with this rotation. And you knew you could afford to get rid of one of them.
Yeah.
And they had to get rid of 2. And they've done good things with that. I think that Password is an interesting one to me because I think he is a future player. That could be back half of 26 and then beyond. I don't think he's an answer right now. Now, he could. But right now, if all things are equal, he's probably starting in the minor leagues. I'm not platooning a young player like that. He needs to play every day, period. He needs to be a starter no matter where he's at. So if he wins a starting job, 100% I'm there. But the other one I saw up here, and I want to know your thoughts here. Light Years from Home says, if everything stopped right now, it would be a success. Best in years, 80 to 84 wins. Getting Suarez gives you 84 to 87. A lefty, I assume maybe somebody like Quintana, I don't think has this type of swing, but 85 to 90. Do you think Suarez and another pitcher gets this team around 90 wins? Can you get there? I struggle to get there.
I think, that's tough. I mean, on paper, if you're saying that you're banking on 25 homers, 330 on base for a guy like Reynolds, if you're banking on 30 homers from Cruz because it finally clicks, you're banking on some of the stuff that we haven't quite, I don't want to say we haven't seen because we have seen it from Reynolds, stuff like that.
Right.
But you're banking on some of that stuff, then I can see where you could talk yourself into that. I'm just not. I think with Suarez and another lefty, I think you're in the ballpark with I think it's safe to say 85.
Yeah, I think you can get me to 85 right now and then allow them to overachieve that. But I think it's a good call. I think they're somewhere around 80 wins right now. And I think it would have to be special to get to 84 and it would be an upset to get to 75. You know what I mean? Mm. And so that's kind of where I sit right now. But I like the Suarez and Quintana combo. I think that would really solidify this team. Maybe still add a bullpen arm. I think you can't go wrong adding a bullpen arm. So maybe still right. I've heard some talks about Sir Anthony Dominguez. A lot of plus side there from somebody like that. Maybe get you in a 7th inning with some appearances in the 8th, and you know what I'm saying. You're losing Mlodzinski from the bullpen right now because you've thinned out the starting rotation. So I think Mlodzinski needs to be considered a starting pitcher. As much as we would like him better in the bullpen, that's what we need right now. Just for depth, it really needs to be a big thing. So yeah, Doug brings up a good point here too. High homer, bad defense guys. And he's saying he doesn't think that'll be the identity this year. I mean, there is something to that because there have been a lot of that. We've had Ke'Bryan Hayes at third base, who's been incredible defense, but no bat or occasional bat. And this would be a complete flip to say we need to add power. The thing is, with a very good starting pitching core, is there are two things that you can go after. One of them is defense, just to make sure that you continue to prevent runs. The other thing is instant offense, efficient offense, which means hit the ball over the fence. If it's a 2-run homer, that might be all you needed. Where last year it was a ground out or a fly out. And now with a runner on, we hit a 2-run homer that puts us to 4 runs and we're good. And we don't lose 3-2. You know what I mean? We take the 4-2 lead or 4-3 lead and it pushes us over the edge. And so like, I don't know. Seth makes a good point here though. And I'm trying to jump around on the chat. And I'm coming in here. Says, we were saying they were a 500 team last year. That is true. That is true. We felt like they had the talent to possibly become a 500 team with that roster. And they didn't do it. And they've certainly upgraded the offense.
Yeah.
Now they did take a hit in the starting rotation.
I think the starting rotation mostly took a hit in innings. I think we still have a solid rotation of talent.
Do you remember? I mean, if you remember, we were going into last year with Skeens, Keller, and Jones.
Yeah.
Feeling great. Knowing we had Ashcraft, Burrows, Bubba, all these guys coming up. It was a plethora of guys that were ready to come up. Oviedo we knew was going to be out, but we had enough. We had Falter. They got Heaney, and it was all of a sudden like you got an innings guy. Falter somehow was doing well, and we knew that. So we really had unbelievable depth coming into that.
Yeah.
And so it there was a lot to, now it's thinner on the pitching side. I still like it, but dude, pitching sometimes quantity means a lot.
Yes.
Because of Jared Jones going down, right? You got to understand, we're going to go into spring training and we don't know. When they come out of the winter, man, that's when all that stuff starts popping up and be like, oh, this guy, that guy, maybe possibly aren't going to get it. So, I don't know. I do think that I think that's a fair call out, that if we thought they were a 500 team built the way they were built last year and expecting that they could have been a number 20 or offense, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Then I think it's safe to say that you could probably now be switching to saying like, no, I think that they're over 500.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel comfortable right now saying an 85 win team.
Right now, you're going to swing that far?
Like, I mean,
I still don't think I can get there yet. I still think we're talking by, I said 81 and 81 last year. I think I'm around 83 right now. And I mean that when I say like,
so
to me, those two wins are big, because once you get above 80, each one of those wins, it's easy to go from 71 to 76. It's probably equally as easy to go from 83 to 85. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the difference. When you're in the 70s, you can swing a lot more games.
Oh yeah, you can get a lot better. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Sure. But once you get into that top, you know what I mean?
It's like, lifting a 5-pound weight is no big deal. But when you have 300 pounds on the weight bench, then 305 is a lot
it's
more
huge,
big
right?
deal.
Sure. Yeah. So let's get into the Okamoto thing, Jake, because I know this is something that everybody's going to kind of be talking about right now. It's been the talk of everybody that has kind of been around. And where was your level of hope on landing Okamoto?
I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, my hope was probably about like a 7.5.
So you were pretty optimistic.
Like I even told Ashley earlier, I was like, man, thought we were going to get this one.
If somebody would have told you, because the reports were the 3 main teams were the Pirates, the Padres, and the Angels. If one of those three teams at that moment would have been the Blue Jays, where do you land on that spectrum now?
About a 5.
Yeah, I think I'm all the way down to a 4
shot. Yeah.
I think I'm all the way down to a 4 there. If I was at a 6, that's a good point though. So like there was a lot of excitement, and like I said before, and there's gonna and I know there's guys in our chat that even last week said I don't believe it's gonna happen. The moves that they've made to this point have created hope in a fan. And we're fans as well. And so as you do that, that optimism starts to kind of creep in a little bit, and you start to get excited about things. And you saw Okamoto's interest level drop for a lot of people. And you know that there weren't a ton of people in on him. And that's why I thought, man, I think they could do this. And where there's smoke, there's fire a lot of times, and there was a lot of things being pushed out there. So let's cover a couple things here. First off, leaks happen because agents put them out there, right? So just for the big thing, like the Pirates aren't going out there saying we offered this. They're not even allowed to do that. So that's not happening. This isn't the Pirates saying we're doing this so everybody can think that we're serious, but we're really not. Like that's not happening. This is being pushed by the agents. And it's even more so going to be pushed when it's the Pirates, because you think about a guy, specifically a guy like Scott Boras, and he has a number, and the Pirates are here. If that's more than somebody else, then 100%, he's the one that's going to be like, I'm leaking this. Because for one, nobody wants to get outbid by the Pirates. Yeah. So I'm going to make sure that this gets out there. And they push it out there, and then another team sees that. And that's the oh crap moment. Like, I'm not getting outbid by the Pirates. Now, if you're the Blue Jays, you know all you have to do is get close. We don't know what the Pirates offered. We may never know. There were some reports out there that were 4 years, 64. That's not enough to outbid. Like, okay, so let's talk about two things, Jake. Let's talk about the Pirates versus the Blue Jays. The Pirates are showing that they're serious. There's a lot of optimism right now. They've created a buzz this offseason. They've been aggressive. You see changes being made for right now, and you know you could be a part of something. However, the Blue Jays were inches away from winning a World Series. Who's the better get, right? Where do you want to go as far as the teams?
Right.
You're going to the Blue Jays if it's only a $1 million difference, right? Mm-hmm. Take the teams out of it, Jake. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, or Toronto, Ontario, for an Asian player, Japanese player coming over into this league. The city of Toronto is much more appealing.
Yeah.
And so you got that as well. You would have had to get north of 70 or maybe at 70 in order to really convince this player to come to Pittsburgh.
And I'll be honest, I wouldn't have been comfortable with that, because there's still the unknown of. It's less. I was just talking about this earlier with a buddy of mine. It's a little less worrisome of Japanese players coming over from Japan and it actually translating, because there's been a few more of them coming and they've had more success than some Japan hitters or Japanese hitters of the past. Mm. But it's still a possibility that he's a bust in this league. And the Pirates can't absorb that contract if he doesn't play well. The Blue Jays don't care. They can absorb that. So, I mean, right. I would have been uncomfortable going much higher.
I am pretty confident in this hitter, though.
Sure.
I think he's got, because he's balanced, and you know what I mean? I'm pretty confident there.
It's just an unknown when they're coming across the seas. How are they going to acclimate to America? How are they going to acclimate to Major League Baseball schedule?
North America.
North America. Jeez Louise. But yeah, it's just, there's just all the different things that go into it as well. Not just what happens on the baseball field, because what happens on the baseball field sometimes also is a reflection of how things are going off the baseball field. And if he has a hard time adjusting to the culture, which is the word I was looking for 20 seconds ago, if he has a hard time adjusting to the culture, then he might not perform well. It might not be because he can't hit a curveball. It's just that there's too many things going on, too many things that are different, and he can't get comfortable. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Steel City DW says 85 wins could honestly win this division. Nobody seems to be improving. I caution. I mean, the Reds or the Cardinals are certainly getting worse. I caution with the Brewers, man.
Yeah.
They had the most wins of any Major League Baseball team last year. They don't have to get better as much as like they're not getting worse. Yeah. And so, I think there's even some things with the Brewers that might be better off, and they still got one move that's just lurking. They'll do something, and I don't know what it'll be, but it'll be something, and we'll all say, well, that's nothing, and it'll end up being big. The Brewers have some things figured out up there. I still think you've got to get to 90 they're probably going to have 90 wins if you just, you don't want to go too aggressive in your predictions like that, but they're like a 90 win team still. I think this is still a wild card push. But if they have a bad year, which can happen anytime, that's why they play the games, then certainly if you can get to the upper 80s, you have a chance. And you're right about the Cubs and the Reds. I think the Reds are a young team. They're going to naturally get better. We've talked about that a lot with the Pirates. Young teams, each year that a player plays in the league, he should be improving. And so you'll get a lot of that from the Reds. They will get internal improvement, but they need help, and they're not going out and getting it. But a lot to like about their rotation for sure. And so I don't think that this division is necessarily down as much as it is just kind of staying put. Other than the Cardinals. The Cardinals are making actual moves to get worse, it feels like. So it could be something there.
Arenado's as good as gone too.
You would think so. Somebody's got to buy into that at some point. Yeah. So I think you're right there. So yeah, a lot of guys in the chat kind of challenging me on that, and maybe I'm a little bit down right now about the 85 win mark, and I don't know. I try to not get too high, too low, and so I'm maybe I could be persuaded. I still think that if something gets addressed for another starting pitcher, if the only thing they do is another starting pitcher and they address third base in some way, I guess, Jake, would I be okay with them addressing left field as well? Right now, I feel like I have Mangum penciled in to start in left field, and with the ability of Justinson Garcia to take that from him, he's had a cup of coffee. He's absolutely ready to break out. He has the ability to take that away. And then I don't think Esmeralda Valdez yet, but still. I don't want to stop talking about this player. That's a power potential guy that is going to be knocking on the door before too long. So I can see a scenario. I'm all in on Connor Griffin. We've talked about it a lot, and I've seen that name pop up here. But that's not a guarantee yet either. And I just want to make sure, I'm excited, and I think he'll play the bulk of the season in Pittsburgh. I don't know if he breaks camp with them. You know what I mean? I just don't know. We just have to wait and see. But what happens if you go into spring training and you didn't address third base and you said, you know what, though? Griffin at short, Triolo at third. I think we're going to be okay. And then Griffin doesn't start the year. Now, all of a sudden, you've got Triolo moving to short, or you've got Nick Gonzalez at short, and you're starting to like the left side of that infield a lot less.
Yeah.
So I think that depth and getting somebody there that can even push Triolo to be that shortstop if Griffin's not quite ready to break out of camp, then I think that's a situation where, I think the only way you really feel good about Triolo every day at third base is if you address another position. And all you can say is left field, or you could convince me on a catcher, but I don't know what's out there. You're going to have to get a serious catcher. It's going to have to be a big-time offensive upgrade. I'm still not out on Henry Davis. I think I want to see it again with the upgrades that they've made. He's good enough defensively that if we can upgrade in other positions, I'm fine with what we got right now. And I know that I'm probably more comfortable with that than some.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm good with catching, with just let it ride.
All right, so we missed out on Okamoto. We're bummed. That's it.
I'm bummed out.
You don't even get the full clip, right? So that's where we're at. But you have to pivot. So we can talk about some pivots. I'm actually going to start because I see a couple messages out here. We've seen Suarez, obviously, but Greg says, I'm okay with trading for Alec Bohm. He makes consistent contact. I see Steel City DW. I'm a Bohm truther. I like Bohm a lot. Feels like a yinzer. I think, and people call me nuts, Bohm's power comes back this year and he becomes an all-star. Here's one of the things I'll caution on the power. I think coming to PNC Park squashes it. And I have a buddy of mine who's from Philly, diehard Philly fan. And I even talked to him about, I was like, hey, I know that you guys are pretty much done with him. And you're looking at Bichette and you're looking to see if you could maybe make a push here. What do we like? You know what I mean? And he basically said, I don't think the power plays there. He's not hitting bombs. And Philly's a hitter's park. So there's, it's nice there. The second thing I'll say is I don't know if I'm ready to make more trades. We have given up. No, I'm not going to say a ton. I'm not going to say we've given up a ton. The Burrows trade was one player. Sure, it was Mike Burrows, and it was a major league arm who I think can be very good in this league.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're giving away anybody else at this point, it has to be somebody younger than 20 years old. Give me somebody far, far away. And I don't think, we're talking about Alec Bohm. You're not going to have to give up Seth Hernandez or Florentino, so we're not even there.
Right.
So it has to be somebody young that maybe most of us maybe haven't even heard of or briefly heard of. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how I feel. I don't really want to spend any more of my assets if I'm Ben Sherrington. Instead, I've been allowed to spend money. I'd rather spend money. I don't want to give away my stuff. I want to give away Bob's stuff. You know what I mean?
Fair. Yeah.
And so that's kind of where I'm at with it. But I don't know. I don't think that he is such a needle mover that it sways me one way or another. And this goes to how much you believe in Triolo one way or another. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm with you to a point, but I do think it wouldn't cost a whole lot to get him because he's only got 1 year left.
Which is
so
another
I don't
thing.
think you're definitely not gonna have to give up a ton of stuff. And he is a good player. He would upgrade you at third base for sure. And it would allow you to kind of move Jared Triolo all over the infield. He would, unless Griffin's not ready, then he could step in and be your shortstop at the start of the year. So yeah, I'm not out. I'm not in. I'm kind of just, I would rather take Suarez any day of the week.
Yeah, that
because I'm spending money. I'm not getting rid of anything.
The thing about Suarez, Jake, is you could actually pencil in 30.
Yeah.
This guy had 49 home runs last year.
Yeah.
You could pencil in 30 that's not crazy.
No, not at all.
When Brandon Lau came over, he had 31 last year. You're kind of saying, give me 25 or more.
Mm-hmm.
But give me 25. Brian Reynolds, he hit 27, he hit 24, he hit 24, and then he had the down year. I think you could get him back there. You could say, all right, Brian Reynolds, get me to 25.
Mm-hmm.
Cruz right now, get me to 25, but obviously that potential can swing a lot.
Right.
Ryan O'Hearn, get me to 20. He hasn't done that yet. But you gotta you got a favorable right field right now. You get to play more games in Cincinnati. You know what I'm saying? Like, here we go. Like,
Yeah.
I start to like some of these things. When he's in Wrigley, go to center field. He goes to center field. He does. And so center field's favorable all three of those parks. Unless you go a little bit left of center and PNC, then it's not favorable. But if you stay in center, it's $3.99. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, like, there's a lot of those.
And you get the bandbox in Milwaukee.
And Milwaukee,
Balls just
right?
fly out of there.
They always say about Milwaukee that you can see really well there.
Yeah.
And so you just make more consistent contact there because the backdrop is, you can see very well. So that's part of it there. But I
would take Suarez over Bohm right now because I don't have to give anything up except money to get him.
And I'm going hard. If I could go 1 year, $20 million.
Yeah, absolutely.
Blow him out of the water.
I like Bohm as a player. If they're both free agents right now, I might lean towards Bohm a little bit just because of he's just a better option for all around player.
And he's younger.
And he's younger.
I think that's the big thing with Suarez right now is you're nervous about that.
But that power's real and it ain't going anywhere yet.
No, and Seattle's a tough place to hit. So if you look at second half and you say like, well, after the deadline, he really wasn't that good in Seattle. Seattle's a tough place to hit. Don't let Cal Raleigh fool you. Like, look back at numbers. Like people don't really particularly like hitting there.
Yeah.
So I think that there's a little bit to that too. Yeah, I don't know. Suarez to me has to be number one. And I think he's going to want 3 years. I think if the Pirates go heavy on their AAV, they could get him for 1 or 2. I think you have a better chance of 1 than 2, only in the fact I'm saying, like, if you go out there and you hit 40 again, you'll get a bigger, you could still get a 3-year deal.
Yeah.
But he's pushing that age where it's like, if you don't get a 3-year deal this year, if you get a 2-year deal, you're going to do another 1 or 2 after that, every contract from then on out. So you're not going to have the ability to sign 3, maybe not even beyond this year. He might not get 3 years. So, I don't know. I think if you can go heavy, like I've seen a lot of 15, 16 million on him. If you can push that maybe to Greg here says 2 for 41. Like, yeah, I could see that working.
Yeah.
I think it's possible.
Yeah, I'm here for home runs right now.
Steel City says he comps at 3 years 70. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen anything over 20 million for him. So I'm not sure where that's, if that's the case, then yeah, that changes the tune a little bit. If what Steel City's saying, then I'm off. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'd rather get a right-hander that I can put in the 4-hole than Alec Bohm.
Yeah.
If I'm getting a right-hander, like if I'm getting a right-handed hitter, I want him to move. And now let me pivot to one more here because we talked Suarez. We got to talk about everybody that everybody's talking about. Bohm's one of them. And I haven't seen this yet in the comments, but we have to talk about Yohan Moncada too. And I know that there's a big, oh gosh, here we go. Listen, it doesn't have to be a huge deal. Moncada has some numbers that are decent. Let me see here. I looked up some numbers today, Jake, and I'm looking at third baseman only as a third baseman. So if you're in the lineup playing shortstop that day, it doesn't count. Only as a third baseman. Okay? And only facing right-handed pitching. There are 4 guys since PNC Park opened to have an OPS over 800 and have 200 plate appearances as a third baseman. 4 guys. And one of them Did it twice. So that means technically 4 seasons, 3 guys. Jung-Ho Gung in 15 and 16. Josh Harrison in 2014 had a 904 OPS when he was playing third. And Pedro Alvarez, obviously, in 2013. Dude, that's the list. And we have what we have at PNC Park. Like right-handers, that should be where we're thriving. And so when I'm looking at Moncada, I am specifically looking at a platoon player with Jared Triolo at third base who can hit lefties and who does have a great glove to come in late innings and go with that. Triolo, oh, this is a good one. Greg says Triolo is greater than Moncada. Not against right-handed pitching. He's actually really, really bad. Like really bad. This is the reason that people don't want Triolo to start ever. And I'm saying, no. He's fine to start against lefties. And an occasional righty. Keep him fresh. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if it's a good matchup. But I'm telling you right now, Moncada, way better than Triolo. Like night and day better than Triolo against right-handed pitching. 815 OPS last season, which is a 124 OPS plus against right-handed pitching. A 124 OPS plus. We didn't have a guy do that last year. It can get a lot worse than Yohan Moncada if that's where they have to pivot. So I think my first thing was scoff, right? I don't want that. But if you take it and you put it in perspective and say, we have Triolo who can hit lefties, I won't ask Moncada to hit against lefties, period.
Yeah.
I think it's there. And I think if they have to, if they miss out on Suarez, you can do worse. And I'm telling you right now, Alec Boehm also couldn't hit right-handed pitching last year. And the numbers were bad. I have the platoon splits from last year and 370 plate appearances. That's a lie. Hang on a second. A 98 OPS plus against right-handed pitching. The numbers don't look as bad when you look at a 284 average that we talk about the contact, but the slug is just not there. I'm not seeing 98 OPS plus is what I'm looking at, right? That's a league split. The numbers themselves, you could convince me, right? But he's a league average hitter. I looked at a couple other years where it wasn't this favorable. This is 2025. So I think I looked at 2024. It was down from that against righties. Actually up from that. So Alec Boehm can hit righties, apparently. It could be worse. So that would be that could be another option, but I'm just saying and Ron's going in hard against Moncada right now, but the numbers each year, there we go, 93 OPS plus back in 23. Maybe I just hit up one of the others, but the idea is that Boehm is one of these guys that you're trading for him and, whatever it is, he's a 1 year. I'm not going longer than 1 year on Moncada either. Just for the record. This isn't a fix long term. This is I missed out on everybody else. And so maybe we go there. But I'm just saying, if they go to Moncada, I don't want us all to then just say, well, this is stupid. Why even waste your money? Just play Triolo. The numbers I was thinking of were Triolo numbers. Triolo last year against righties, a 69 OPS plus and a 126 against lefties. Huge difference. These are the numbers I was thinking of, not Boehm. 203, 298 on base, and the slug was only 306. You're talking about a 604 OPS plus and a 798 against lefties. Huge difference. Yeah. I'll play Triolo against a lefty.
Sure.
But I can't do that right there. You're facing more right-handed pitching than you are left-handed pitching. That right there tells me I can't afford to go into the season with Triolo as my third baseman. Not even to bring up, Jake, the fact that we need a backup plan at shortstop to start the year, which needs to be Triolo. And then when there's a lefty, you get Gonzalez in the lineup and Moncada out, and you figure that out. Either Gonzalez plays third or plays short and Triolo goes, whatever you do.
Yeah.
This actually answers the last question on our little card, wrong corner, up in the corner. Is this offseason a bust? No. And the chat's already telling us, like, no, this has been a good offseason. And, if they don't do anything else, blah, 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 that's fine. But the thing is like, there are moves they could make, like a Moncada, because they've made the Lau move, the O'Hearn move.
It makes that Moncada a little bit easier to take.
That's right. Because you can get the offense from him if he only faces right-handed pitching. I think I still have his page up from last year. (2025), he hit 12 home runs off righties. 0, by the way, off lefties. A 39 OPS plus. Like, he's not going to see, if they bring in a lefty out of the bullpen, I'm pinch hitting. Like, it's that far. Like, this is you will not face lefty. You're going to have 10 at bats against lefties this year. And that's because we ran out of players. Like, it's not going to happen.
Or we're just winning by enough that it just doesn't matter.
Sure, that's a good point too. And to be fair, he had 27 plate appearances against lefties last year. Like, he was used the same way.
Yeah.
And his overall numbers were a 116 OPS plus. The second best hitter would have been the second best hitter on the Pirates overall. But he was used in a platoon role, and I think that's the only way that you go about it. The defense isn't good, right? We understand that. But that's why you got Triolo to come in late in the game. Close game, whatever it is. Bring in Triolo for defense. It's a doable thing. I'd much rather have Suarez.
Yes.
And it seems like Bohm, too. I like I said, I was getting some Triolo and Bohm numbers mixed up. But it seems like Bohm, too, could be another pivot. Although, again.
The thing is, either way, the pivot options, you're not getting much power. Even with the Moncada signing, you're going to get a little bit of pop, but you're not. It's going to be the same amount of power as like Bohm or some of the other names that have been floating out there. There's not a lot of power at third base available right now.
Third base, I think, in general is down, right?
Up, probably. As a whole.
Feels like it. Feels like it. Addison Barger, I saw somewhere in here. Addison Barger, if they do land Bichette, whoever lands Bichette, you're going to look for somebody. Do you go after Barger? Do you go after?
My only problem with Barger is he's going to cost a lot more. He's got more years of control.
He's got more years of control. That's a good point. So if you have to make a trade there, it's going to be bigger. And Clement still has years left too, but Clement, I think he's the other one too that I kind of looked at and I'm like, I don't know how I feel about Clement, and he's not a platoon option. Like he's also better against lefties, but you like the contact, but you already have Mangum. How many of those do you really want in the lineup? You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
Yeah,
So
a lot of the Clement stuff, we just remember what he did in the postseason. He was unconscious in the postseason.
Right.
But I don't know.
4.3 WAR last year though, because of the defense.
He didn't play that much, did he?
That's a counting stat,
I can't
dude.
believe that. Yeah, no, I can't believe it was that high.
It was 3.4 the year before that. I mean, he had 277 and only had a 95 OPS plus. That the defense is spectacular.
Yeah.
But you got a high contact guy who he had a career high in strikeouts, 61. Like it's ridiculous. High contact guy with great defense. And I mean, he's their second baseman right now, but if they sign Bichette, then Bichette is.
Right.
So if they bring him back, then Clement now is available. But again, free agent in 2029. So another situation there. The point is, Jake, that Okamoto wasn't the last standing guy that this team could have got.
Right.
There's other options. There's other options out there. They can still land something that helps out third base, even if it's a little bit in somebody like Moncada, who's a free agent that you can just bring in on a 1-year deal and say, give me 10 to 15 home runs against righties. And I'll flip around and have Triolo playing against lefties. And could I get that third base position to 15 to 20 homers? Like, yeah, I think I could. You know what I mean? I could get 15 to 20 home runs out of third base by platooning Triolo and Moncada. And if I was to tell you, regardless, that I got 20 home runs from third base, you'd be pumped.
Yeah.
Might be all you get from Okamoto this year. Now, obviously, with a 4-year contract, you've got some potential of doing more, in future years. But the point is like, you could do worse than that. Now, obviously, if you get Suarez, you're really counting on 20.
Yeah.
And saying, give me 30. And I think it'd be a big thing. Martin says, I'd move Cruz to third before taking Moncada. Listen.
Jeez.
Yeah. Listen, it's in the numbers, man. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I know that we get set on these guys that we don't want. Steel City DW, man. I'm sorry, I just saw this. Don't come in here quoting this guy. This guy's off his rocker. He has no idea what he's talking about. Don't get that guy out of here. That guy's a bum. He doesn't know anything. I haven't seen 3 or 72. That he's saying maybe that's what he's saying the Pirates should offer him, because he thinks the Pirates should offer him 150 for 1 year in order to sign him, because he's an idiot. Sorry. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't like to call names. That's my bad. Back up.
Where's the edit button?
Yeah, where's the edit button? Can we edit that out? I don't like that. I don't like that. Look up numbers and just see, like, instead of just thinking of Yohan Moncada was a huge, big time prospect, and we've had those guys here before, and he never panned out. But like, if you look at the numbers and you look at the platoon splits, and I know that everybody doesn't love platoons either, and that makes sense, and I get it. You have good reason not to love platoons, but we're not running them at any position right now. O'Hearn can hit lefties. You don't have to platoon him. Spencer Horwitz is only getting better. There's no reason to run a platoon on a guy who was our best hitter by OPS plus means last year. There's no point. Cruz still has the big power and the big breakout potential that he's not a part-time player. You're not platooning him. A guy like Jack Sawinski would be a platoon candidate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that he's there right now. Like, maybe in the past, I would have said he could blossom into a Jock Peterson type. I don't think he's there right now. He's got to fix some things first. So I'm not sitting here saying let's run a platoon with. Go ahead. I think I just picked something on my leg.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, I see. I get what you're saying there about Sawinski, and that's not a realistic option for us right now. He's got too much going on there. I think it's going to be a city change before he really clicks. But yeah, I don't know. I'm all in on Suarez for the moment. I think that's how you fix third base. I think you overshoot it, try to get him here.
Yep.
1 to 2 years, make it happen, so we don't have to worry about a pivot. Like, I don't want to deal with another pivot, to be honest.
Yeah, and we've seen that this is difficult. Now, and we know that, like, there's different ways you could go about this. You could look at that, or there's different ways you can accept this, and sometimes it's not really about Ben. This Okamoto thing, like I said, if you have the Blue Jays involved and they're up against the Pirates, I just don't see how far you have to overpay, which is a team who shouldn't be overpaying. And they should if they want to get, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It would hurt them to overpay in a sense. And you're saying that it should be so hard to convince a player to come to the Pirates or to the city of Pittsburgh over top of the Blue Jays or the city of Toronto when you're talking about a player like that. Yeah. I don't think there's the same amount of hoops to jump through with Eugenio Suarez. You're not talking about a Japanese player coming over from Japan this year. And we know the things that they value. We know why Chicago gets Japanese players. We know why the West Coast does because of direct flights and all that. And we know that Toronto would be a place that would be good for that as well. Remember Munenori Kawasaki? Man, what a trip that guy was. You remember him?
I remember the name.
Yeah, he was hilarious. He says, monkey eat banana. 2 bananas every day. Monkey never cramp. How many bananas did you eat? He says, I eat 3 bananas.
Yeah.
I love that guy. It just thought of it because he was in Toronto, but
yeah,
he was fantastic. And had a good run there for a minute.
I thought that was Kikuchi that said that.
Oh, okay, yeah. Anyway.
Monkey never crump.
Monkey never crump. I love it. I just think that there are times when it's hard. I think the Pirates have a little bit of momentum in the Lau move, in the O'Hearn move. They still have Paul Skeens. They've got a little bit of momentum in a sense that I think you could convince somebody that there's good things here. And if you get a guy like Suarez who knows he could contribute to that, and he's been in this division when he played for the Reds. Mm-hmm. And so he knows, you know what I mean? I think you could still land this, but as soon as there's another team, either a team he's played for before or a team that is who was in the postseason last year, it's just tough. It's tough to win out in those situations. And we know that the money's not just flowing.
Dang it, Bobby.
Even though we know that there's also more money available this year.
Yeah.
We just don't know how far that goes for certain players or whatever. But I think that third base could still be, and I think if you can't and you have to go to a Moncada, is there another player that you could get to add to the outfield mix that maybe makes you feel better about that? Or no, I mean, we believe Kutch is coming back. Is he the right-handed bat that's in the mix for a corner outfield spot, or at least for DH when O'Hearn plays a corner outfield spot? Remember, O'Hearn is not a platoon player. He hit lefties last year, and the more at-bats he gets against lefties, the better he does. So,
yeah.
And we saw, like I said, again, we saw Spencer Horwitz, who drew a lot of walks in the second half against lefties. He's changing, like he's becoming a better hitter from both sides. And so you don't have to worry about that as much. And then you got guys like Lau and Cruz, who the power potential's there. You just don't want to mess with it.
Yeah.
And we've seen Cruz hit lefties too, just not last year, but we've seen him be able to make that a part of his game.
Right.
So
last year he didn't hit much of anything. So
fair. Not a lost off season.
No.
And
it's been a good off season.
It's been a good off season. And I still don't think they're done. And they shouldn't be. I'm going to be stubborn about that extra starting pitcher, Jake. And I still think that I still think third base needs addressed, even if it's addressed with a Moncada. And I say that that's not the move I want to make, but even if that's the move I make, I'll feel good about it.
Yeah, it just for me each time you have to pivot, it's what are we pivoting to?
Yeah.
It's a larger option that pivot doesn't work out.
I like this. Seth suggests maybe we call up Ronnie Cedeno to fill the shortstop gap. I like that. That's like saying Sung Chae Chang, which we just DFA'd. So,
Yeah.
so there, you know. So Just Baseball today has Suarez 3 years, $70 million, which I think is really high. I promise I'm not crazy. Okay. So that would be an interesting one. If it gets that high, I don't know that the Pirates can get there. Is that fair?
It's fair.
I don't think we do. We have projections.
23.
I'm going to look right now on that's Ranger. Come on. 3 years, 63 on MLB Trade Rumors. So we're 10 million different there, and that's what I'm referencing there. And then if we do Fangraphs, we've got 3 years, 60 million. So we're still
projected around 20 to 22.
He's projected around 20 to 22. But I've just seen a lot of I mean, there's not teams calling him. Maybe it is. Maybe it's the Okamoto thing. Maybe they were waiting for that to kind of go. Maybe it's the Bichette move. If he waits till after Bichette, it's a smart move, right? Because now, I mean, Bichette's being looked at as a third baseman from a lot of guys, a lot of teams. I think that's where he plays if he goes to Philly.
Yeah.
I think he plays second if he goes back to Toronto now.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting coming. Like, you still have Bichette to go somewhere. You got Bregman that's going to go somewhere.
Yep.
Like, you got Kyle. I know this isn't third base, but you got Kyle Tucker that still needs to fall somewhere. There's quite Bellinger's still out there.
Right. There's a lot of chips to
bats. There's a lot of bats that need to fall, and not all of them are on our radar or in our wheelhouse of needs.
Mm-hmm.
If we're picking and choosing which ones our needs are most important, third base is there at the top.
Martin asks if anybody would be interested in trading for Mark Vientos from the Mets.
Not really, just because he's a Met. I don't need that juju.
That's fair. I know somebody who's bullish, saying that Vientos is a player who could break out, and so he's really high on him. Personally, I'm not sure. You know what I mean? I'm just not sure. I don't know what I.
There's just a lot of concerns that came out of that clubhouse last year. They're saying just because two people weren't there, everything was different. Being JD Martinez and Iglesias. Like, they were like, those two held our clubhouse together. It wasn't the same last year. Like, there's just a lot going. I just wonder about anyone from that clubhouse at this point.
JD Martinez? Oh, 2024 he was there. Okay. I did not remember that.
But the numbers are fine, and I think he's primed for a breakout. I think it potentially could work. I'm just a little nervous about it. That's all. And that could be something that I'm way off base on too. It's just an opinion that I might eat later. Potential's there for him. I just again, it goes back to what you have to give up for any of these guys, to whether I'm actually full on excited about a trade, in on a trade. I don't know. It's for me, it's always the return. And I think a guy like Bohm, you're going to have to go up a lot less. So I'd be a lot more willing to go there in a trade route.
Yeah. It's a good call.
The other guys might be better players. I just don't know if I want to give up everything to get some of those guys.
And Greg says, which means Pham will be a Met. He's been there before.
Mm-hmm. Means he won't be back.
Yeah. That's also possible. All right. Well, man, Okamoto's a Blue Jay, not a Bucko. I think that was a big one.
Yeah.
I still don't think that it's unrecoverable. I think they can go somewhere. There's still moves to be made. I obviously don't see Bregman or Bichette being a target for the Pirates. But
they are chips that probably may need to fall before we get our guys.
Maybe. I think, can you get aggressive enough? Can you get aggressive enough with Suarez?
You need to try
to say, like, we saw a couple. I would jump at 2 years 41, 2 years 42. Are we in that range where we can actually land that? Or do we need to then just kind of say, like, hey, 2 years 45. Like, I'll give you 25 this year and 20 next year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Something like that.
Front
load it for this year. And that way, I mean, he's 34, 35 now. Another year older the next year, and 25 and 20, and let's go from there. And, do that. Steel City DW, emotion aside, do you want Kutch back? I can't put emotion aside. I think he needs to be a Pirate. I think that I'm okay with saying that. He can't go somewhere else. And if he wants to play again, I think yes, absolutely. Seth says as a bench bat only. Absolutely. I mean, that's what he is right now.
Yeah.
There are players there who can do better. Kutch still hits lefties, man. Like
Kutch still doesn't throw a bat away.
No, he's still.
Like, he's going to go up there. He's going to give you a good professional AB, which is all you can ask for bench guys who don't play a lot.
Yeah.
And that's where he's at in his career, and that's fine. I don't want him playing for any other. I don't want him putting any other jersey on again.
No, not again. Still 333 on base last year, and it's. He puts together good at bat, 13 homers, but when you talk about, geez, he's got so many years. I just go to look at splits, and you got to look at this giant list. Against lefties, still a 113 OPS plus per the league.
Yeah.
Still 743 OPS. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think, and not to mention Clubhouse keeps things loose. Not a big vocal leader, but a guy that, people ask questions, and I think he could be a part of it. And, I don't know. I still see a path where, he's absolutely a better fourth outfielder option than, I'm going to say this, Jake, he's a better fourth outfield option than Justinson Garcia. Because I need Garcia playing every day.
Yeah.
We still got 6 years of control of that kid. If he's not a starter in the majors, he's a starter for Indianapolis. And if Mangum's not getting it done, then he's the starter in the major leagues. Like that. Yeah. I don't think Kutch has that. And I think if he's playing part-time, he absolutely can sit at a corner for a game. Or, like I said, so can Ryan O'Hearn. And Kutch can DH for that day. But if he's not playing every day, he could go out there and play a little bit in the outfield. I just think that you can't. I think that if you do that, you might be looking at the final year, and I just think it'd be so stupid to let him do that somewhere else.
Yeah.
When you have a bench spot that you absolutely like, Who else is going to sit on that bench spot, Jake? Like I said, you're not going to put Garcia there. You're not going to put Valdez there. You're going to fill it up with Billy Cook. Would you rather have Billy Cook or Andrew McCutchen?
Right. Andrew McCutchen.
Jack Sawinski or Andrew McCutchen? Andrew McCutchen specifically because you're looking for the right-handed hitter. And then other than that, you're asking like an infielder to say, like, I can pretend to be an outfielder for this year just to do this. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know, man. I think you're better positioned to say Andrew McCutchen. Now, if they go out and sign I don't know if Austin Hayes is signed yet. If they go out and sign him, I think the writing's on the wall. But
I think he got signed.
Did he? Okay. I think that your bet is Andrew McCutchen. Absolutely has a spot that a role that he could fit. Right there, Greg. They rostered Canario all year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Miles says, love Kutch so much as a Pirate. Would you sign Kutch and trade Gonzalez? That's where I'm at. No. Well, I don't see how they have anything to do with each other.
Yeah.
Gonzalez is gonna be an infielder that bounces around where they need him. I don't see that impacting Kutch's time at all. Right. Kutch is that fourth outfielder that they don't have right now. And like I said, Garcia is a right-handed hitter. That's the short side of a platoon if you're platooning.
Yeah.
I'm just not. He needs at-bats. He needs to play 100%. Every day. That's the only way you get better is playing the game. So I don't see saying Mangum's against righties and passwords against lefties. I think that would be foolish.
Oh yeah.
So I could see Mangum as a fourth outfielder if Garcia's the starter, and then you have a situation on hand, right? So if you're a believer in Garcia, which, like I said, that trade wasn't about that, but if you're a believer in that, then that's a possibility. Like he absolutely could show up.
Yeah, and at that point, if I have Kutch on a 1-year deal, though, I'd probably just send Mangum down.
He's got options. And Steel City DW said this too. I'm worried there's going to come a time this year when a pitcher is hurt and we have to make a hard decision in DFA Kutch, and I hate that. I just think that he's going to be better than that.
Yeah. I think he's still got a little bit left in the tank.
And I think that if you're doing something like that, like you're also talking about, you got Billy Cook on the roster still. You got Jack Sawinski on the roster still, which we don't know yet. When the O'Hearn deal goes through this week, we don't know if Sawinski's going to outlast the O'Hearn deal.
Right.
We just don't know yet. We don't know what move. There's guys to move off this roster still.
Yeah.
So, but Billy Cook is a guy that I would be quicker to part with than that last year of Kutch, if that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
I just don't see a need for that. I think they'd fake an injury before they'd do that for the PR.
Yeah.
60-day IL, torn hammy, and he's not coming back this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. But all right, let's wrap this thing up. You guys are awesome. Again, Pirates Fest is the last Saturday of January.
January, yes.
I believe it's the 24th. There is a 31st after that. I believe it's the 24th of January. I'm considering heading in there. But yeah, they'll try to make a move before that. I agree. And O'Hearn will be done before that, and maybe even Kutch if that's a thing. And like I said, I'm just assuming if he's going to play another year, I'm assuming it's going to be here.
Yeah.
Ron, I'm with you. If it's this year, I think this might be it.
Yeah, I think this is his last ride.
So if they make it to the postseason this year, then I'm with you. But yeah, for sure. Also, a little WBC trip coming from me and Jake. We're gonna go down and see Skeens pitch in the WBC. And then after the WBC, I'm flying from Houston straight to Bradenton, technically Tampa, and driving to Bradenton. So I'll be at some spring training games right after that for a few days. Katie and I are going down. So really excited about that. Get an opportunity to do schemes with the WBC and pivot that into, I think, like 4 days or whatever at spring training, I think is what we're hitting up. So pretty excited about that coming in March. But just got that kind of confirmed for me and Jake this week.
Yeah.
That we're going to do it. So that's really exciting. We're going to try to do a show from Houston too, I think.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. I will not be joining on the Bradenton trip, but.
Right. You could. Yeah, you probably won't. No, never mind.
No, I can't.
That's out of the question. You're right.
That is out of the question for me.
All right. Anyway, there you go. Ron says, stop by and see me. We'll have a root beer. Just let me know when, man. We'll have a root beer. I love it. Thanks again, guys, for checking it out. I know there's a game on tonight that a lot of you are probably also keeping an eye on. So, as always, appreciate you. The chat was crazy tonight. And it's not over, guys. The offseason is not cooked. They still got some things in the oven. Let's see what they get done. Let's go, Bucks.
Yep, let's go, Bucks.
Thanks for listening to my dad and Uncle Jake on the Bridge to Buctober podcast. Follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Bridge2Buctober. Don't forget to subscribe so you know when new episodes are released. Clear the deck, cannonball coming, and let's go Bucks!